Hi there. In this lesson we're going to learn how to import data into Excel. So let's have a look at what we're going to do. We're going to import data from a web page in text format. We're going to import from Notepad in text format, and we're also going to import a comma-separated text file, commonly known as a CSV format. Okay. How to import data from a web page. I'm going to switch over to Excel now. And here we are in Excel. Okay, so in Excel we have tabs along the top. So we have Home, Insert, Page Layout, and so on. For this we want to go to the Data tab. And this is where we connect to other places to get data from. So on the left hand side we've got a section called Get External Data, and for this one we want to click From Web. Get External Data from Web. We click that, and we'll have a pop-up, and it will automatically start to populate with data that Microsoft has chosen that you should have. That's not where your data is. So if you have a URL where you know there's some text data, you can simply paste it into here. I will give you this URL so you can go and play with this yourself, and you can practice importing data from the web. So you simply add it in the address, the URL in the address field, and click Go. It will ask you, give you a security warning. Do you want to view only the web page content that was delivered securely? You can click Yes. And here is all your data. It's populated. Excel knows what it is. So you click Import. It will now take a little while for it to think about this, for it to grab all the data, start to understand the data, the different formats and so on. And after a little while, it's usually about 10 seconds, but it can be a lot longer. It will then ask you, here it is, where you want to put your data. Where do you want to put the data, in an existing worksheet or a new worksheet? Well, I'm quite happy to keep it in this worksheet in cell A1, which is what it's suggesting. I just click OK. It will now grab all the data, and here it is. It's imported all of the data. Of course, then you want to save it and make copies of it for you to start doing your work with it. But that's a lesson for another day. Right now it's about importing data. So we've just imported data from a web source. So I'm actually going to delete all of this data now, and we're going to start fresh, because we're going to, right, where are we? I am going to go, one moment. We are now going to import data from Notepad. Now, Notepad is a text format. It holds things in a text format. It doesn't recognize numbers, although they are there. And it's important to note that the third part of this tutorial, importing from a comma-separated file, the comma-separated file is it's a special kind of text file, but it's still a text file. And the procedure for importing comma-separated values, comma-separated files into Excel is exactly the same as importing from Notepad. So everything I'm going to show you now, I'm going to show you how to do it from Notepad, but it's exactly the same for CSV, and I'll go through that as well. Okay, so how to import data from Notepad. I am going to switch back into Excel now. Okay, so in here it's this mostly the same procedure. You go to the tab Data, and then Get External Source, Get External Data. But instead of clicking From Web, this time you click From Text. It will open up. You search for the folder in which your data is held. I've already done this. It's already in here, and this is my data. This is the data that I want to import into Excel. So I simply select it, then click Import. It will now go into the text import wizard. It wants to understand a little more about your data so that it can import it in the format that you want it. It's asking whether it's delimited. In other words, there are characters in between each cell, standard characters that you can use to say this is the character that stops one cell and that ends one cell and begins the next. And if you've got a consistent character for all of this, then you can store all your data in text file, which is what it's done. Alternatively, it can be fixed width. If you know that each cell is of exactly the same width, you can use that. But in this case, as we've already seen our data, we know that it's not fixed width, so it must be delimited by something, although we're not quite sure what yet. So we click next. It's suggested that the delimiter is a tab. It may be and it may not be, but let's have a look. Here's the data down here, and each vertical line here shows where the cut point is going to be. And this looks actually a reasonable choice. So this data is probably text delimited. Sorry, tab delimited. I can take that off and look what it's done. Now all of the data is now in one great big long text format within a single cell. Semicolon, I can try that. No, that doesn't make it any better. No, it's not comma delimited either. Spaces, can we delimit by space? Well, actually no, we can see here this data, it doesn't look very good, so it's not space delimited. Tab delimiter is probably the best for this data. In fact, it is set up to be tab delimited. So we've got tab selected, and we now click next. In Text Import Wizard Step 3, it's now asking which format you want each column of your data to be. So you can click through each of these columns and select the format that you want. I tend not to do this. I tend just to skip this step. The reason is because Excel is actually very powerful. It's very, very good at recognizing the data types of particular pieces of data. So if you've got a text column, it will automatically set it up to be general or text. If you've got a numerical column, it will set it up as numerical. So there's a lot of magic that sits in behind Excel, and I just let it go ahead and make these choices for me. Occasionally, it will get one or two columns wrong, and then I can go in and correct it on a case-by-case basis. But I let Excel just run its magic. So I now click Finish, and it's again asking me where do I want to put this data in the existing worksheet at cell A1, and I click OK, and here it is. It's imported all my data from my Notepad file. It is of course the same data set as I had before. So that's how to import data from Notepad. The procedure for CSV is exactly the same, and I'm going to show you that now. So I'll delete all of this data, and we're going to start again. So for data from text, we click from text, and here we click from CSV. This is a text file. All of these are different text files. So I click from CSV and import. And we go through exactly the same text import wizard. So it's delimited, next, tab. See, this one is not tab delimited. Okay. So is it semicolon? No. Is it comma? Well, of course it is, because it's a comma separated file. It's a CSV, comma separated value. So these are all comma separated, and this is why you need to click comma rather than tab, and see it's separated it out. So I can now click next. It's asking me what format. Again, I'm completely okay. I'm going to leave it as it is and click finish. It will now ask where to import it. Existing worksheet, cell A1, and here it is. I've just imported a data set, a dummy data set that I'd already got containing various data points, and it's automatically formatted the numerical values here as numerical. These ones are text. This one is numerical, and so on. Text, numerical, numerical. So Excel has done its magic. It's automatically picked up on which data types are which. So I'm going to switch back to my PowerPoint now. So that's how to import data from Notepad and from a CSV file. If you've got any questions about this video or about the course, please feel free to email me and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.